Yo, y'all know what time it is. Back with some more creepy TikTok videos that will make you question reality.
The weirdest things found in human bodies, part 2. Firstly, doctors encountered an unusual case where they discovered 10 latex gloves lodged in a man's rectum during surgery. The patient, a 55-year-old man, was diagnosed with pica disorder, a condition which causes cravings for non-food items, like gloves. Next, a woman went to a hospital for intense abdominal pain, but an x-ray revealed a foreign object resembling jewelry in her stomach. After further investigation, the woman admitted to intentionally swallowing her jewelry to hide it from her husband, who she claimed had a habit of giving away her jewelry to people. Lastly, a man was sent to the ER after having breathing issues. At first, doctors thought it was lung cancer, but during surgery, they made an unexpected discovery. It turned out that a pea had accidentally entered his lung while he was eating. And
this video is going viral after a woman freaks out on an airplane claiming that everyone on board was going to die after she saw a weird figure in black head to the back of the plane. Take a look.
Say whatever you want. I'm telling you, I'm getting the off, and there's a reason why I'm getting the off, and everyone can either believe it or they cannot believe it. I don't give two but I am telling you right now, that mother back there is not real. And you can spit on this plane and you can die with them or not. I'm not going to.
What's even scarier is that this comes just a couple of days after a British man on a flight from Croatia saw the same man and tried to open up the plane doors to escape him. What's going on?
Yo, what's going on with people out here right now, y'all? Like, what do you think they're seeing? Two people seeing the same thing on a plane. I don't know if that's a coincidence or not. Like, something's definitely going on, y'all. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think about that video.
Let me tell you about the TikTokers who recorded a video of a body in a suitcase.
What?
It started off with these group of TikTokers who were random nodding, right? And they were recording like TikToks of them doing it. Gives off a like vibration,
like a frequency.
Yeah, and it's normally like even. This place sends you to places that are like way lower, right? So they were doing this and they were recording it. This is during the pandemic when this app was really like booming. They follow the thing that it tells them to go to, and it takes them to this pier. Well, underneath the pier, there's a bed of rocks. They saw a suitcase. Well, when they saw the suitcase, they were like, it could have money in it.
yeah.
Open it. It stinks, y'all.
It washed out.
Oh, here's the crime scene.
So they called the cops. The cops show up and then confirm to them that it is human remains that were found inside of this bag. This landlord got into it with his tenants. It was this couple, and he ended up taking their lives with a shotgun. It's so weird how that would.
This is why you shouldn't.
Yo, how did the app, like, tell them where to go? That's crazy, right? Just imagine that. You playing a little game, and then you literally find that, though? I don't know, man, how I would feel about that one.
Why you shouldn't mess with powerful entities. A woman named Sarah and her daughter Regina wanted to try out a ritual-like game from Venezuela called Sarita Sarita. Sarita Sarita is the ritual that attempts to invoke the vengeful spirit of an indigenous woman who made a deal with the devil in order to obtain seer-like abilities. The game is played by tossing 2 coins in order to have the entity answer any questions. As Sahari and Regina begin to communicate with this entity, this happens.
Sí, sí, sí. ¡Ah! ¿Qué fue? Tal vez.
A hand can be seen reaching out from the dark just behind Regina. By playing this ritual-like game, did Sahari and Regina allow an unwanted entity into their home? Or is it...
This girl gouged her own eyes out. Do not watch this video if you are easily triggered because this is very graphic. In February of 2018, 21-year-old Kaylee Mutthart from Anderson, South Carolina, gouged her own eyes out while under the influence of drugs. She was reportedly using methamphetamine, which led to a severe episode of hallucinations and psychosis. Unfortunately, during this episode, she believed that she had to sacrifice her eyes in order to save the world and achieve salvation. She ripped out her eyes and squished them in her hands, and the incident occurred in a public area. Witnesses tried to intervene and help her, but it was way too late to prevent the damage. Emergency services were called and she was quickly transported to the hospital for medical attention. However, the doctors were unable to
Okay, so Kanye West might actually be a clone. Okay, so we all know how Kanye has been in the news for a while now, but not too long ago, he disappeared for a while and came back looking completely different. Just look at this photo, he looks like two different people. He really doesn't even look like Kanye anymore. Kanye also said if he ever disappeared and came back and was acting different, it's not him, and that's exactly what happened. How could somebody be everywhere to nowhere so quickly? It's all a little too sketchy, and here's the video of Kanye saying if I disappear and come back, it's not me.
Yeah. What have you got to say to people that are trying to cancel you? You can't cancel them. I'm here. That's right. We're here doing a big, we ain't going nowhere, baby. We've been here for years. If I ever went anywhere, we know why. You understand what I'm saying? So we here. Exactly. Kanye, any words on Bitcoin? They get pop right.
Guys, I know we all loved the Sun Vanish series. I have another Twitter series I think you are all gonna love. Someone comment something along the lines with this in it right here. I'm gonna use that comment to kickstart the series. This series is a lot scarier than the Sun Vanish, and in my opinion, way better. I love making these Twitter series for you guys, and I really look forward to making a series on this Gregory Twitter account.
You think the man outside is scary? Wait until you hear about the lady on the bench. The lady on the bench game, also known as Madam Shadow. The reward for playing this game and winning is finding out the name of the one that you will be with forever. If you lose, then nobody will ever love you. The lady on the bench will make sure of that. You want to start the game by heading to a park at sunset. Doesn't necessarily have to be exactly at sunset, but just make sure when you're heading to the park, it's dark and lonely outside. No one should be in the park but you. Before you go to the park, of course, you're gonna write the name of the person you desire the most on a piece of paper, fold the paper, and put it in an envelope. Now, when you get to the park, sit on the bench and put the envelope on the other side of the bench. You're going to repeat these words. Lady on the bench, this is my message to you. I want to know if this love is true. Repeat this at least 6 to 12 times. Get up and walk away, and the lady on the bench will follow you back home. She will be in your house to give you the message of whether or not this person is the one for you.
Every Disney princess is supposed to represent a disorder. So psychologists did a study and determined that every Disney princess had some type of clear disorder that they had. For instance, you know Ariel from The Little Mermaid? You know that she's a little too obsessed with collecting things. In her secret cave, she has thousands of items that she's reluctant to get rid of. And this is a form of OCD. She's hoarding. And don't get me started on Alice in Wonderland. That's what happens when I eat your mama's booty. She sees talking cats.
Pause. See what?
Pillars, bunny rabbits at tea parties, and just a whole bunch of psychedelic stuff, which is also a form of schizophrenia. People who have schizophrenia even saying that they've seen things similar that are inside the movie Alice in Wonderland. Before I continue, what Disney character do you relate to the most? Let me know in the comments down below. Me personally, I'm gonna say Stitch, cause I am chaos. Belle from Beauty and the Beast. She gets captured by a beast and held captive in his castle, but then soon tries to see the good in him and later falls in love with him. That's Stockholm Syndrome, where a victim falls in love with their captor. You're a victim. Elsa and Anna from Frozen. One is impulsive and warm. The other is impulsive and cold, which are forms of bipolar disorder. There's more though. Should I do a part 2?
I never would have thought about that.
Terrifying facts you never knew. If your immune system ever found out that you have eyeballs, you would go blind. Which means right now your immune system has no clue that you can see. Because if it did, they would attack your eyeballs until you can no longer ever see. This is because your eyeballs have a protein in them called crystalline that doesn't exist anywhere else in your body. So if your immune system found out and checked them out, it would be like, something's wrong here. Studies show that most serial killers are born in November. Today's high school students have the same anxiety levels as insane asylum patients had in the 1950s. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, my anxiety might be up there too. There's a disease called fatal familial insomnia, where where people suddenly one day lose their ability to fall asleep, which leads them to slowly go insane. They can't distinguish dreams from reality anymore and go into some type of paranoia. It becomes so severe that they eventually die. Those that make it to the final stage and don't die usually end up in a vegetated state, no longer conscious. And it can happen to any one of you. About 3,000 people go missing every year in the United States. The last execution by guillotine was in 1977. This was in France. And also that was the same year the first Star Wars movie came out. You are always 6 minutes away from death, but breathing resets the clock. In 2011, Anatoly Yakovlevich was arrested for having 12 dolls in his apartment. Only problem is, they weren't normal dolls. They were recently deceased little girls that had been dug up and dressed to be put on display. In 2012, a Burger King employee anonymously posted this to 4chan. It said, "This is the lettuce you eat at Burger King." It only took 20 minutes for people to track down the branch that he worked at, and he was fired. You really never know what people are doing to your food. H.H. Holmes was a serial killer who built a torture hotel in the 19th century. He had secret rooms with gas chambers, trap doors, and stairs that led to nowhere. He loved to play with his victims' minds. It was almost like a real-life Saw movie. There's a bridge in Scotland called the Overtoun Bridge, and for some reason, dogs keep jumping off of it at the same spot. Yeah, they just jump to their deaths. Experts can't figure out why either. Some people speculate it's a magnetic field or maybe a frequency that only they can hear, but others believe it's something supernatural. But whatever is making dogs jump off that bridge to their deaths is still to this day unexplained. Joe Matheny was an infamous serial killer who not only cooked his victims to eat for himself, but also made them into burgers using their remains. He then sold them to unsuspecting customers from a roadside.
Yo. The fact that he had Burger King as the video when they said selling human remains to unsuspecting customers is just not sitting with me well right now, y'all. Nah, man. He did that on purpose.
Food stand. We really never know what we eat. I'm cooking all my food myself. This is why I don't eat over people's house. In 2021, a new homeowner was shocked to find a boarded up wall. When he ripped the boards off the wall, he discovered a hole. In that hole was a doll clutching a note. The note saying that she killed a family who lived there in the 1960s. Be honest, would you move out? In 1978, there was a pilot named Frederick Valentin. Him and his plane disappeared in Australia. His last communication was, "Melbourne, that strange aircraft is hovering above me again." It is hovering and it is not an aircraft. This is a mugshot of William West and William West. Oh, and they're not related at all, but they were both sent to Leavenworth Prison at the exact same time in 1903. And after some confusion, the staff finally figured it out. There were two different people who had the exact same name and looked identical. This was said to be one of the main reasons why we now use fingerprints to identify somebody. There's biotech being developed as we speak that can make prisoners feel they are serving an 1,000-year sentence in a matter of 8 hours. That's horrifying. Imagine thinking you spent 1,000 years somewhere, and then when you wake up and snap out of it, you realize that it was only a couple hours.
I feel like that's life though, y'all. Honestly, I feel like that's life.
Do you know how crazy that is? When you wake up and snap out of it, you realize that it was you spent 1,000 years somewhere. And then when you wake up and snap out of it, you realize that it was only a couple hours. Do you know how crazy that is? Anyways, like this video if you want a part 2.
Yo, that's crazy. I feel like that's life though. What if you woke up from this life and realized I just lived 100 years? And it's only been a couple hours. Man, the tech that they creating is crazy. But yeah, guys, these are some of the most creepy videos that you'll be able to find on TikTok. If you like the content, don't forget to subscribe, turn your notification bell on, and until next time, YouTube, peace.